Thanks, Jill. I'm glad to see you all here tonight, especially the student body officers who took the time to come at this very busy beginning of school. Because in order to effectively discuss the learning environment of our students, we all have to understand the unique predicament that they are in. We need to understand the circumstances that are leading up to these policy decisions that are being made. At no other time in the history of the world have a generation grown up with tech as readily available and personally used as kids and youth have today. And we are now seeing the interference that it has caused in their growth and development. I'd like to share with you a couple really important stats, and I want you to notice the credible sources and the variety of sources that they come from. Since 2010, there has been an increase in anxiety by 134% and an increase in depression rates by 106%. This particular source is called The Anxious Generation. It's a best-selling book, and it has gotten a lot of buzz lately because it's a compilation of studies, of all these studies from around the world that have to do with the impact of phones on children. Teens spend nearly 5 hours a day on social media apps. More than 3 hours per day on social media doubles the risk of poor mental health, including experiencing symptoms of depression and anxiety. According to the National Education Association, 83% of teachers support an all-day phone-free policy. 50% of kids, actually more than 50% of kids, get 237 notifications per day, and some receive as many as 4,500 every day. That is not a typo. And these occur, 23% of these occur during the school day. Phones prevent face-to-face communication, and research suggests that face-to-face communications are linked to better mental health. Rates of school loneliness have doubled since 2012. 41% of teens with the highest social media usage rate their overall mental health as poor or very poor. These are self-reported. 35% of teens admit to using their cell phones to cheat. These ones are pretty devastating. This was done by the CDC back in 2023. 22% of high school students have seriously considered suicide in the past year. 10% of those have attempted suicide in the past year. The National Institutes of Health show that adolescents who experience cyberbullying were more than 4 times as likely to report thoughts of suicide in attempts as those who didn't. Each additional hour of total screen time increases the odds of suicidal behaviors. A third of all teens report they have been exposed to pornography during the school day. 72% of high school teachers report cell phones are a major distraction in the classroom. And this is what we call brain drain. The mere presence of one's own smartphone reduces available cognitive capacity. These are powerful devices for good and other ways in which they are not so good. We need to ask ourselves, and students, I want you to ask yourselves this too, is it worth having smartphones in schools? What are we sacrificing so that we can conveniently and instantly communicate with each other or with our kids through these devices during school hours? What is the cost? And according to Henry David Thoreau, the cost of a thing is the amount of life which is required to be exchanged for it, immediately or in the long run. So what is the cost? The cost of our convenient communication at school is decreased cognitive capacity, decreased quality of social well-being, and mental health. Is it worth it? We can reduce the cost of life to our students by implementing policies that will provide them with dedicated learning and social development at school. This compelling research is what motivated some of our district board members to aim high in this process of policy reform, because they're doing it for our students. We're doing this for you guys. I hope these statistics and discussions tonight will not only assist our district in implementing the most effective policy for our students, but will also motivate us to implement responsible tech practices within the walls of our own homes so that it can bless our lives rather than undermining our ability to live life to its fullest. Thank you.